by this Smonanyana revision, just to recap, guys, for what we will be looking at in this topic. So now this is a study guide that, guys, that is focusing on the map types and the concept that, guys, you need to know. I've realized recently that the way they ask questions, they like to check the definitions, guys, that you are aware about the different types of maps that we have on medical literacy, and you're able to match the concept of different type of a map, we match it with a concept or with a definition of that map. So they will be testing on that, guys. They will be checking. So you need to know your stuff when it comes to these maps, and then know how to differentiate them. All right, and let's start from this part here. I'm sure you can already see that, yeah, it says maps. So we're gonna look at the first map here, and I've tried to make a picture of what this map it looks like on this other side. So this map number one here, it's called a route map. So a route map shows a specific route, path from one place to another, often indicates landmarks and identifiable places of interest. So that is a route map, and then usually it is used on hiking. We call that, which is what we call it, a hiking trail route. Those one who normally go for hiking, those who grow up in Makaya, you know that we follow sort of a trail of cows or of people, so that and then we move in the same path until there is a route that is created there. And also those who have run marathon, we're coming from a marathon the previous weekend. So those who are runners, so there is a route that needs to be followed, and then it's similar to what I've shown you in this picture on this other side here. So, and also other routes maybe that we can take into consideration, it will be the racing track. Racing track, it also shows the track of, or the route in which the car they used, and then to travel and then to get to their final destination. So we have a starting and also you have a finishing. That is called a route map. And also we also have what we call a street map. Yeah, we have a street map here. So now, what is a street map? Therefore, a map of a town or a city showing all the streets names and also buildings of interest. So this one, it looks like this one here, as you can see on this other side here, and then there are street here, as you can see. You can, yeah, you will have all the name of the streets there, and also it will shows you maybe the buildings there, which are hospital, the church, libraries, all those type of buildings, and also it can also shows you the houses. Yeah, on this one you might not see the houses, but it does sometimes show you the houses. You can see the houses, the blocks, and then, yeah, and other stuff. So this is called what, a street map. And then also we have also a national road map. Yeah, a national road map, it's more the same as like this one that you can see here. And let me bring it closer to you so that you can see it. um yeah, you can see this is a South African map here. This is a South African map. So it looks like that. So it has the national road, N1, N2, N5, all those roads, then our N7, all those kind of roads, they are all there. So these roads, they connect the cities as usual. They connect the cities, the major cities that you can know, Pretoria, Johannesburg, Bloemfontein, Cape Town, all those cities that we have, and then in the country, they're connected by this national route. So yeah, so that is what we call it, a national road map. So yes, it is a map showing all the national roads and how they connect from one city to the next, and then it looks like this diagram here. And also we have also what yeah a grid reference map. Yeah, a grid reference map. So now, how does a grid reference map, now how do we define the concept of that reference map, and how does it work? It says a map that has being divided up into rows and columns, forming a grid, which is labeled alphabetically or numerically and is used to simply reference a particular area or point on the map. So now this is how now a grid reference map looks like. So this is how it looks like. So here it has numbers. So here it has alphabets. This side they are in order. So now if you are looking for this location that is here right now, looking for this location here, where will you find this location here, the target point? Therefore, you're going to say it's B2 because these are the two lines that connect here. So it's B2. So this area is on the grid reference of this one is going to be B2, just like as they are showing you here. And also, we're going to focus, especially on this concept, we're going to focus also on a trip map. So we're going to focus on that. Is also called a trip chart. So now, how does a trip chart looks like? Therefore, it's they say here a linear map not drawn to scale, which represent the approximate distance between major towns along a main road, as well as the general direction in which the major towns lie relative to the main road. So now this is what we're going to be focusing on. So now here's an example of that. So here you have town A, you have town B, you have town C, and in between these two towns, there's a distance between those two. So it's 20 like that, and then the distance is showing like that. So it shows you what it's a linear map, and that shows what the distance between the towns, and then these are connected by what? By the main road. Here, the main road there between these towns. So we're focusing on the main road there. So, and now the next one, therefore, which is not exactly a map, but it is a table. So it's also part of the map. So, and they say a table which indicate the approximate distance between the towns. So this table just shows you the distance. Like instead of looking at what we've been doing here, we have town A is on this position, you have town B here, but here you want to see that you have town A here on this side. Okay, you can maybe look at it vertically here. You have town A and and also town B. The distance between the two, so you can see that between town A and town B, the distance is 18. So that's how the distance has been represented between the two towns. And the distance between town B to C. Here, let's make an example of that. I'm going to check this one. Between B and C, here's B here, and then you move straight to C. So here is the distance between when they join. So here you have the distance between B to C, and then the distance is equal to 10 kilometers. And then also, if you're looking for a distance between A to C, you can also do that. And here is your turn A straight to C. Here is the distance is still 10, but here is just an example as I'm just showing you. So this is what you're going to find also on the examination. So you need to know how to interpret this and how to analyze this correctly so that we can find the correct distance. And also here we have also at a transport map. Yeah, here's a transport map. A transport map, yeah, it looks something like this. So it will show you, for example, here can show you a train. Can show you a train, how the route of a train, and then here it can show you a route of whatever mode of transport that is being shown here. It can be a taxi, yeah, it can be a taxi or a bus, all those things. So what does the transport map mean? So it says a map which indicates the transport route. It indicates the transport route. How does a bus travel from one point to another, or a train or a taxi. So together with its stops. So together with its stops. So it also shows you also the stops, where it's going to stop from which point. Now maybe here you can also pick up something here. If this one starts from here, there will be a stop somewhere here. There will be stop, 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 stop somewhere here. There are paths that there's a path that is gonna fall. So until maybe it gets to this point here. So you can see you're gonna pick up these red lines here. That these are some of the stops that this transport is going to have on this route. So that's what is a transport map is, and then in this case. So guys, that's it then from here. I just wanted us to recap because I didn't want us to waste time, but I want us to refresh so that we can be able to identify these, because I know that sometimes exam wise they do ask you guys to identify the type of a map that you are dealing with, and then it is very important to be accurate and to identify this type of map. So yes, we have a route map, we have a street map, we have a national road map, we have a grid reference map, we also have a strip map or chart. So this is what we're going to be focusing on for today. And then also we have what a distance table, and also we have what a transport map. So those are the maps type of that you can find in your examination. So now allow me to look at one example that we can do, one of the maps that we can do for today. Now let's make it smaller now so that we can. So what we're going to be doing, guys, here, it is a strip map, most definitely. So I'm going to just share something that maybe you can look at for the points that you can look at for whenever you are solving this type of equation in an examination. How do you approach this question? That's what I'm going to share, the skills and the ideas and how you can approach this question. All right, let's get into it here. I'm sure that you can see what is on the screen there. Let me try to make it bigger a little bit. Okay, it's too much now. All right, try to make it smaller. Okay, fine. So here we go. Here it says Pete and his son decide to travel from their hometown of Van Renstorp. So now here this is the place where this is their hometown. So now they are traveling from there. And then now this says, and then this is where it is in South Africa. This town is in South Africa. And then they are going where? To Keetmanshoop. Yeah, Keetmanshoop, and then we're in Namibia. So they're going to this place. So this place is in Namibia. That's another country there. Now this is for a hiking expedition. Okay, so that's what they will be doing. So they will be hunting expedition. Okay, that's what they will be doing there. Now this is study the strip chart below and answer the question that follow. So yeah, you need to study a strip chart below and answer the question that follow. That's what we'll be doing now. So now I've already highlighted now. So feel free, guys, to read this twice, at least 3 times before you can answer the question. So just try to analyze this information. So right now, they are saying Peter and his son decide to travel from their hometown of Van Renstorp, South Africa, to Keetmanshoop in Namibia for hunting expedition, and then study the trip sheet below and answer the question that follows. So that's what they are saying. So now we're going to study the trip sheet here and try to make sense of what we are looking at. So now let's look at that. Therefore, I'm going to try to put it here in the middle so that I'm going to just try to make it like this. So I hope that you can still see what I'm displaying here on the screen. Let me make it big a little bit. So this is a trip chart, therefore. So now if we're looking at this trip chart, therefore, we can see that on this trip chart, therefore, there are distances on on your right hand side, which is this side here. Let me just try to highlight it here. There's a distances here. The distance is, so if you look at the distance here is 900, here is 685. It decreases as we go down until we get to this point here, which is Cape Town. This is Cape Town. That's the starting point here. And then if we look on the other side now, if we look on the other side here, the distance from Kettmanshoop here at the top is starting from 0 kilometers. And then as we move down the distance, it increases. This is getting it increases as we go down here. When we get to this place here, and then it is 310. And then when it comes to this place here, which is Springbok, 400. When we come to this place here, as you can see, the distance keep on increasing, keep on increasing until we get to this point here. The bottom part of this map here, it is Cape Town, and then the top part of the map, it's Kettmanshoop. So as we can see there. So now what exactly is happening here? So now the left hand side of this map, which is this side, this shows us the distance from Kettmanshoop to Cape Town. And then if you're traveling from here, starting from here, from 0, and then you're getting to Cape Town, you will travel a total distance of 995 kilometers. But on the right, if you analyze it, you start from 0, if you're starting from Cape Town, you are going to Kettmanshoop, then to this place here at the top here. So the distance from 0 to there is still the same, which is what, 995 kilometers. So that's what this map. And then, but here, as we are moving here from Cape Town, you'll be using N7, and then you'll be using this main road going up to the top there. And there will be towns that will be passing most definitely as we are going to Kettmanshoop from Cape Town. So that's what is happening here. And if we are looking at this also, we can see that there is South Africa, it ends here, and then somewhere at the top there, we have Namibia starting there at the top. And also here, there's dotted lines here. The dotted lines, what do they mean? This is a national border. And then there are key points there that you need to note there. So we have also here a campus that has been provided for us. We also have what a key point that are here. This is the square represent what the major city, and it is the circles, or the circles here, these rounds here, they represent what the towns. So this is very important that you are able to analyze this and understand what were these figures that you are seeing here, or this object that you are seeing in on this trip chart. So guys, now I think since now we have analyzed this on what is happening here, now let's go to the question now and check what exactly they're looking for and what exactly we need to do on this question. So now the question that is being asked here is they are saying here, what do the distance on the right of the N7 indicate versus the distance on the left? So we have two distances already, I've mentioned them. This distance on the left, on the right, okay, let's start with the right. The distance on the right of N7 indicates the distance traveling traveling from Cape Town to Kettman's Hope. So this, yeah, because here, guys, is 2 marks. So yeah, this is 2 marks. So, oh, this one, it can be 2 mark. And then, but I've only explained the part on the right. So now, but the difference when it comes to the left hand side, it would be the distance on the left hand side of the of the N7 indicates the distance traveling from. Then you change the weights here. It's going to be Kettman's and then to Cape Town. So you want to change those. We're just gonna flip those words. Instead of using right, you're going to be left. You want to say the distance on the left of the N7 indicates the distance traveled from Kettman's-Hope to Cape Town. That's what you're going to do. Now, coming to the other part, therefore, 1.2, they say here, how far is it from Cape Town to Kettman's-Hope in meters? So what's the distance from Cape Town? Then we've already highlighted from Cape Town, from here to get to Kettman's, therefore the distance, it is how much? Therefore the distance, it is the distance, it is 995 kilometers. It's in kilometers, but here it says how far is it, but they want the answer to be in meters. So now we need to convert kilometers to meters. So now how do we go about it? Remember the scales that you need to know by heart, and then from converting from kilometers to meters. So you must know the scale and then by heart, then to millimeters. So remember, if you're moving from big to small, you multiply by, here it's between kilometers, you multiply by 1,000. And if you're moving from meters to centimeters, you're gonna multiply by 100. And if you're moving from here, you're gonna multiply by 10. Why am I writing that? This will be 10. So this one. So now we are converting this. So in this scale, you must know it. So now to convert this into meters, therefore we're gonna multiply here by 1,000. Multiply here by 1,000, therefore we're gonna get about 995,000 meters. So this would be, this would be your answer for this one, because they want it in meters. So now on 1.3, this is how far must Pete and his son travel to reach Kettman's-Hope? Remember, Pete is 300 kilometers from Cape Town, his starting point. So where is he starting? Therefore, remember their hometown. Let's look at their hometown. They have mentioned the hometown of Pete. So the hometown of Pete is from this place, Van Reinsdorp. So now Pete is here. So he's on this location. He's on this location here. So now he's 300 kilometers away from Cape Town. So his starting point is 300 kilometers away from Cape Town. So where is he going? He's going to this place here. He's going to this place. So how many kilometers from here to there? How many kilometers are remaining from this Van Reinsdorp to Kettman's-Hope, so forth? Now, so that's the distance that they're looking for here. This is how far from where he stays. So now your answer therefore is going to be 995, which is the total distance from Cape Town to that one, digital distance. So, and then minus by the distance that from here is 300 kilometers. Then how many kilometers are the left? You find the remaining kilometers there. That means you're going to subtract by 300 kilometers. Therefore, the answer that you are supposed to get, therefore, is going to be 695 kilometers. So that's what that's a distance from where Pete lives, or where they stay with his son into this position. Therefore. Or also, you can also just check the other side. Instead of using this side on the right, you can also use a distance from here, because the same distance, if you're starting from Catman's Hope, from here to this place where they are living here. So it's the same distance from 0 up to this position is how much? It is 695. So it's the same distance. So the distance from there to here is the same as the distance from here to there. So it is 695. So you can see it here. You can also see it on the other side. All right. Now, coming to the other side now, coming to this question now. I've put this question just to also check and also to make sure that you also get a different a variety of questions, and that might look similar but they are not same. But here they are saying calculate the distance that Peter and his son must travel to reach Catman's Warp if it is 2 kilometers from their home to the main road. So now, if it is 2 kilometers away, away from the main road, so we have already seen the distance from this point to that point. So if the question is asked in this way, so what they are simply saying, the main road, let's say this is a hometown. Okay, this is a hometown. So to get to the main road, which is N7. So in this question, they're asking then if they are moving from their home here, so there's a distance here that you need to be mindful of. There's a distance there. There's this distance that you need to be mindful of. This distance here, maybe you can say distance from home to the main road. It is equals to 2 kilometers. So that means on this distance from here, you need to add 2 kilometers, and then from there to this place, therefore, it's still the same as 695. So therefore, you're gonna take this answer and add only 2 kilometers. So it's up to you. And then you can simply say from here, what you need to do is to say 995 minus that 300 and then plus 2 kilometers. Therefore, this will give us 697 kilometers. So that's what you get. Or just from here, from this distance on the left, you add, and then you get to this Van Rijn scope. And therefore, from this distance here, then you add the 2 kilometers, or meaning that you're going to say 695 plus 2 kilometers, which the one we're talking about. Therefore, it's going to give us 697 kilometers. So it's the same answer. That's how you can also solve it. And now the next question says, how many towns would Peter and his friend pass while traveling from South Africa? So how many towns that they would have to pass when traveling in South Africa? Yeah. So they are living here. They're in this place. This is where they're living. So now how many towns that they need to pass? Remember, my towns are these Maranyana rounds here. These circles here. So the first town is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the answer here is going to be 6 towns. So this should be your answer. Therefore, it will be 6 towns. And then the next question says, write down the route number on which they will travel when they are in Namibia. Yeah. Write down the route number. So what is the number of the route number? The route number that they want to travel when they get here in Namibia. So here's the border. When they cross this border in Namibia, yeah. So what would be the number of that route? Therefore, it's P1. That's the name of the route there. And now this says here, on their way back from Catman's Hope, Peter allows his son to drive. So now when they're coming from this trip here, they're coming from this trip here, and he allows his son to drive them back home. But now they are saying what? They are saying that However, his son misses the 10 of 4 Van Ryn's drop. Therefore, he missed that 10. Then what is the next term that he will encounter? So what will be the next term that he will encounter if they miss the route, to 10 in here? So remember, they're coming back from there. So they're gonna, which term that they're gonna find? Therefore, the next term, therefore, is going to be this one. From Van Ryn's drop, therefore, the next term, therefore, if they're coming back from that side, they find, therefore, the answer, therefore, is going to be Friedendal. Yeah, it's going to be Friedendal. So that would be the answer for this solution. So much, I think we've come to this. We've come to the end of the session. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. And then if you have any question or more question, and then I'm gonna drop more questions then on this one, so that you can practice more questions, and then so that you can get a better understanding of how to solve this question. Please make sure that, guys, you don't forget to like and share and subscribe. And thank you very much. Yeah, apologies for my voice. I have a flu, but I thought let me just drop something for you guys so that maybe you keep on working in your groups and sharing with your friends on what is happening. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Keep it up and keep on preparing, guys, for your next examination. Thank you. Sharp, sharp.